everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Hi.
How's it going, GR Dad?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
I'm okay. The cocktail of the week is the Salty Dog, which I picked just for the name. It's gin and grapefruit juice and a little simple syrup and club soda. And it's very refreshing.
It's very tasty, although, as you point out, there's no salt in it.
I think normally one would salt the rim, but I had hibiscus sugar, which I put on the rim. Which
it was good.
Beautiful, and I think sugared rims are always tastier than salted rims.
I like sweet.
Yeah, me too.
Also, there's no dog in it.
No. All right, dog updates. So, excuse me, there's a lot of dog updates this week. So last week, and I can't believe this was just last week, we talked on the podcast about we did this blood sugar curve on Remy and it was so perfect. And we're taking him to the vet tomorrow to have the vet do a blood sugar curve. And then he's going to be able to get his surgery. So we did his blood sugar curve and his numbers were kind of right around 100 all day, which is just where they're supposed to be. It was lovely. And the next day we took him to the vet and they said his numbers were like 350 all day, which is a huge difference. And I was like, that's very weird. And Ingo got him home at the end of the day and I took it and it was 56. And I talked to the vet and I was like, so one of our meters is wrong. And I took our meter and they come with a control fluid, which is basically like a sugar water that has a certain amount and you put a test strip in that control fluid and then there's a range that the meter is supposed to pick up. And it was right in the range with the control fluid. And I took blood sugar from Vink and Guac and it looked normal, which it should because they're not diabetic. And I'm like, I think mine's okay. And I'm like, it says this thing's 56. And she's like, well, I can't believe it's 56. That's low. That's very low. I was like, okay. And she's like, well, we'll check on this. And I was like, okay. And so the next night, we took his blood sugar right before dinner. Oh, we had ordered a new blood glucose meter. So I was like, tell me the model of glucose meter you have. I'm going to order the exact same one that you have. And then I'm going to take his blood sugar with that one and with mine. And we're going to figure out where this is. So last Saturday, the new blood glucose meter comes right at the end of the day, right before dinner. So I take his glucose and it's 100 on our old meter and it's 90 on the new meter. So that's within the expected variation. And we give him dinner. And then about an hour later, he's super confused. He's kind of stumbling around. He got stuck under the table. And I was like, I know what this is. This is low blood sugar. These are clinical signs of low blood sugar, which is super dangerous. They can go into a coma and die. So we take his blood sugar on both meters. And on one meter, it says 20. And on the other meter, it says low. A human would be in a coma, wouldn't be able to swallow at that point, just would be totally shut down. Very dangerous. And so we're pouring honey into his mouth and he's nom, 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 feeding. Oh my God, we fed that dog so much honey and peanut butter and extra dinner and all this stuff. And his blood sugar came back up and I emailed the vet and I was like, problems on your end, you guys, what the heck? And so anyway, we have a plan and we're still trying to get the details sorted out where we're going to take his blood sugar here and then put him in the car, take him to the vet, take it on the way, take it when we get to the vet to see if he just gets nervous and that makes his blood sugar go up, and then have our meters and their meters and take his numbers at the vet to see what's going on, because obviously his blood sugar is not in the 350s. It's not in the 100s one day, the 350s the next day, and then crashing down to 20 after that. So in any case, he's not getting his eye surgery right now because we're still trying to sort this business out. Anyway, that's Remy.
Yeah.
Voods and Guac and Vink have all been pretty stable this week, I think. Right?
Yes, they have. Yes. No escapes, no injuries, no weird, not more than the usual weird eatings.
Yeah. Poor CB got an ear infection. So he's fine, but he was real sad with like the one, they perk their ears up, except when they have an ear infection, like one ear stays flat. It's very sad. So he was like that a couple days ago, but we've been giving him medicine and he's fine. And then Hops, we finally have let her start swimming again. She's got a couple little scabs left on her incisions, but that's it. And she's very happy about it.
She loves being part of the swimming team.
But yesterday, all right. So it's stone crab season here in the Keys. Stone crabs have big giant claws, and you can eat them. You eat the claws. I mean, I don't, but one eats the claws. And when you catch a stone crab, you just rip its claw off and then throw the crab back in the water, and the crab will grow a new claw, which I think is terrible sounding. But, I mean, I guess it's better than murdering the crab.
I mean, they come back into the water. They're kind of like hops. Think of it that way.
I'll just be like, what the fuck just happened? I had 2 of those, and now I just have 1.
Yeah, except it's worse. We didn't eat Hop's leg. It's not as bad.
Gross. So anyway, it's stone crab season, so there's a lot of crab traps out in the water by our house with buoys on them so people can go find their crab traps. And Hops has been eyeing one of those buoys that's out there, thinking that it's a ball. Like, I gotta go get it.
Shaped like a ball.
It looks like a ball out there. And yesterday morning, everybody was out swimming. We posted a picture of all 6 dogs in the water. And Hops is like, I'm going to go get that ball out there. And I was like, you know what? Fine. Like, I'll swim out there with her. I put on my swimsuit. I'll swim out there with her. And so to get to this buoy, it's way, way further than Hops normally swims. So you kind of swim off our little beach. You swim across the channel, which is deeper, and then you get out further where the water is shallow again. Like if I stood up in it, it would maybe be like knee deep, maybe thigh deep, depending on where you are. So not quite shallow enough for the dogs to stand. They have to swim out there, but I can stand, or I can even kneel on the bottom.
Not deep enough really to swim that well either.
Yeah, depending on where you are. Like if you're just trying to properly swim, like you would touch the bottom with your hands. So I'm going out there, and Hobbs is like, all right, I'm going to go get this thing. And I was like, well, I better go because she doesn't really know what she's capable of at this point with her one leg. And then Remy freaks out whenever anybody swims around. So he's like, I am coming. And he's blind, so he doesn't know where the hell he's going.
He just hears splashes.
Yeah.
And then follows with his own splashes. I mean, it's got to be pretty exciting for him.
And then Walk and Vink at some point were like, maybe we should come out for this too. Excuse me. My cough is relevant to this story. And so I'm going out there, and Remy feels like anybody else who's swimming is probably dying. And so he's like, I need to save you, Jen. So he's just clawing onto me, right? So I'm in like a bikini, and he's just like clawing into my back, into my hips, like grabbing onto me. And I'm trying to like get him off of me so I can get over to Hops, who's now grabbed the buoy and is trying to swim back with it, except it's attached to the crab trap, so it's not going anywhere. And she's kind of tilting sideways because she only's got the one leg in the front. Won't drop it, won't leave it alone. Guac is coming out there, and I'm like trying to get to them. And normally I don't go out that far because there's like the bottom, the sea floor, and it's kind of mucky, and there's like corals that grow there, and there's rocks, and there's sandy patches, there's sponges, there's all kinds of life down there that I don't want to be stepping in. I don't want to be touching it.
Well, there's stone crabs.
and stone crabs, and I mean there's lobsters, there's rays out there, there's all kinds of stuff that I don't want to fuck with. But I'm like trying to get to Hop so she doesn't drown herself, the idiot. And then Remy's like trying to drown me. Guac and Vink are coming out, like they're swimming around.
Yeah,
everything.
Guac's like, ooh, ball.
Ugh. At some point I was like, GR Dad, get the kayak. And he's like, oh, okay. I was like, get the kayak.
You're like a football field away too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like small. You're small.
Yeah. So GR Dad, being the hero, like got in the kayak and came out, and then two of the dogs followed him back. And so Remy kind of started going back because he could hear them swimming. So I'm trying to shepherd Hops back in, kind of pushing off the bottom, swimming a little bit, finally getting everybody back in. And as I'm doing that, as we're trying to get everybody back in, I see one of these Cassiopeia jellyfish out in the water, which we've we've had them on the snaps before. They are also called upside down jellyfish, and they sit on the bottom normally with their tentacles pointing up.
Yeah, they look a little bit like starfish on the bottom when they're on the bottom. I think it's deceptive.
Except they're round.
They are.
So entirely not like a starfish, which is named for its star-like shape.
There's a middle ground where this and starfish, some starfish are real blobby.
Yeah, these are definitely, they look like blobs, and they sit on the bottom. And there are times where there's a ton of them. Like we can go kayaking sometimes in the year, and the whole bottom of the floor in certain places is covered with these jellyfish.
Ugh.
And I see them sometimes when I'm swimming. They're not super dangerous, but they do a thing called venom bombs, which is a real nice term I like, where they kind of put off these little mucus balls full of venom. So even if you don't touch them, you can get stung by them. And this happens to me when I swim, not all that rarely, where I'll come back and I'll have a couple spots, and it feels sort of like a mosquito bite, but if it's stung instead of itched. But like that kind of intensity. So like a little bit annoying, but like not a huge deal. And
mucus bombs.
Venom bombs.
Venom bombs.
Venom bombs. A mucus venom bomb. And so as I'm swimming, so I saw one of these jellyfish and I was like, ah, fuck. And I could feel a few places that were stinging a little bit as I was swimming in. But like whatever. I swim all the time. And I'd say half the time I come back with like one or two spots that sting a little bit. And it goes away in like 5 minutes. It's not a big deal. So I like give a couple dogs baths. I come up, I'm drying the dogs, and I was like, all right, I got to take a shower. Like I've got claw marks all over the place from Remy trying to get me. And I get in the shower, and by the time I get out of the shower, my entire body is now revolting against me. Because it turns out if you get stung by a jellyfish, fresh water activates any of the little venom injecty bits that are left on your skin, which I didn't even know I had. And apparently I was fully covered in them on my body. So I got out of the shower, and dear dad can attest, like I got into bed and was literally writhing in pain.
Moaning and writhing.
Rolling around. Every muscle in my body cramped. My low back, like my chest was tight. Abdominal pain, and then I started coughing, super nauseous, like throwing up. I took hops out at one point, and I was like throwing up in the yard. My blood pressure went up, like not dangerously high, but like way higher than it normally is. It just, everything hurt. And of course, then I'm stinging everywhere at that point. So after about an hour, that's my cord there, dear dad. After about an hour, the nausea passed, but like I couldn't even lay or sit in one position because like every muscle was like cramped and sore, and this, at one point I called the ER and I was like, so this is happening, and they're like, huh, weird.
Which is not what you want to hear when you call the ER or any doctor. So
I was like, I can breathe fine though, like, because you can have an allergic reaction to jellyfish, and then it's like anaphylaxis, right? Like your throat will swell up, your lips will get puffy, and I didn't have any of that. And they're like, well, if you can breathe fine, you don't really need to come in here. Like, we're here if you want to come in, but you don't have to. And I was like, okay, like, I mean, this is worrying.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to keep an eye on it and kind of figure out, like, is this a thing where...
You were in the fetal position a lot.
Yes.
Groaning because it hurt so much.
And then kind of when the nausea passed, I was so thirsty. So I drank like 40 ounces of water, just like straight, before I was like, I got to stop doing this. Like, I'm going to make myself sick or screw something up. Like, I got to drink smaller bits at a time. But I think I definitely drank more than a gallon of water yesterday. I mean, I was just, you refilled my water bottle for me a bunch of times.
It's the only thing I could do to help, since you were like, oh my God, I can't imagine anyone touching me right now.
Yeah, he'd come over and I'd be like, do not touch me. No touch.
Everybody get away from me, which is totally understandable since your whole skin is on fire.
But the muscle pain, like so much worse than the stinging. It feels like, I was sort of saying yesterday to the people I was talking to that it feels kind of like when you have the flu and your whole body hurts, but like 10 times worse. But what it really feels like is, remember how much your arm hurt after your COVID shot? It's like that, but the whole body.
Ugh.
That's what it feels like. And so I was like, well, maybe I can just like go to bed and I'll wake up and then it'll be better in the morning, which is now. That's now. That is not what happened. I couldn't even sleep last night because everything hurt so bad. So all I did was basically like roll it like a log, like just around and around in the bed. And I'd sleep for, I'd kind of doze off for like 15 minutes and I'd wake up because the pain was so bad and like reposition and try it again. It was terrible. And so now this is, I'm whatever, 26 hours, 27 hours past it. Every muscle in my body still hurts. And I'm getting these weird, like stinging sensations. Like they'll just really intense, like sting in one place that'll then go fade away. So anyway, I was trying to figure out like, what the hell is this? Because it normally like you get a welt where the jellyfish stung you and whatever. So what I have is a thing called Irukandji syndrome, which normally only happens in Australia. So they don't even call it Irukandji syndrome in the US. They just call it Irukandji-like syndrome. I found an article about it, like a scientific paper called Irukandji-like syndrome in South Florida divers. And I was like, ooh, I wonder if that's like my part of South Florida. And it's 3 cases of U.S. military combat divers in Key West who got exactly, you could read the description of what they have down to their blood pressure and their fever, identical to everything that I went through yesterday. So this paper is interesting because it's a case study of these 3 divers, which are the only 3 cases of Irukandji syndrome reported in U.S. coastal waters. So I'm number 4, I guess. I emailed one of the authors of this paper is a professor at Maryland. So I emailed him and I was like, hey, I read your paper.
Want more data?
Anyway, it sucks. But there's not really a lot to do about it. I did talk to my doctor today. She at least gave me something that's going to make it easier to sleep tonight. But I just kind of have to like endure this and it will get better. There's nothing else to do. Like Benadryl didn't really help. Advil and Tylenol, like I guess they help a little bit. Pepto-Bismol helped a little bit with the nausea. I just feel like hot garbage though. So I don't know. These military divers felt better in about a week. So
they're 22-year-olds.
One of them's 19, one of them's 22. Anyway, hopefully I get better faster than that.
It is such bad luck. It is such bad luck. People swim out here all the time. Our neighbors are swimming all over the place. Never a problem. Everything is fine. And you almost die.
I must have like stepped on or... Like, the thing is, my whole body hurts, right? So it's not like there's one spot that I got stung. Like, I must have swum through a cloud of venom from a bunch of these, which the dogs could have kicked up. I could have kicked up. Like, I don't know what I was touching on the bottom. So, anyway, there will be no award for low maintenance dog of the week this week because the only dogs who weren't swimming out there were Vodes and CB. But CB had his ear infection, so he's not really low maintenance. And Vood is never low maintenance. So 0 trophies this week.
What do you think about Vink? Because it wasn't Vink's fault. She was trying to swim laps.
Vink swam out there with us. And then when she was swimming back, she was like going to the neighbor's house.
Yeah, because the lizards live over there.
Oh, my God. You don't get a trophy for that behavior, Vink.
Huh.
No trophies this week. Also, irritability is one of those symptoms of this syndrome. It really is.
Which is bad because it goes undiagnosed in your case.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's baseline.
I'm always kind of irritable.
No trophy?
No trophy.
Come on. All right. Just because of one bad experience that almost killed you.
I was going to say, I haven't slept and I haven't been able to like get off the couch.
Well, don't give it to the jellyfish. Those guys are jerks.
Oh my God. If the dogs had just listened, if I had been like, get back here, and they'd been like, okay, then we wouldn't have had this problem.
No, it was a circus out there. But Remy really did most of the damage.
Oh my God.
In everyone else's defense. Oh no, Hops was trying to, drag
Hops
that
was the
buoy
real
back.
problem, honestly.
Yeah, Hops was not coming back by herself. You had to shepherd her. Absolutely.
All right, I'm just looking at I have Voods. Oh, okay. I'm
Moving
looking at my
on
list.
is what you're saying? Moving on?
But I mean, that's more than I wanted to talk about how crappy I feel.
That you had to explain the cough.
Cough is also a symptom of this. Like in looking at the treatment that they gave to these military divers, they actually gave them like injectable cough medicine, like to stop them from coughing. I made your dad go out and get me a COVID test last night. I'm like, it would be the weirdest coincidence that all the symptoms of COVID, not that these symptoms even really match COVID, but that I would get all of these symptoms onsetting at exactly the moment I showered after getting stung by jellyfish. But like, let's just make sure, because this cough is super weird. But apparently I do not have COVID, which is good. And also a cough is a symptom of this. So who knows? Anyway, I think that's all of the dog updates. We're podcasting from the couch this week because I can't get off the couch because I feel so like garbage.
And your butt still hurts.
And my butt still
hurts. Oh, by the
hurts.
way, also, you're like not even one thing at a time. It's like all the things all the time. It's terrible. I can't believe how well you're handling this. Irritability, schmirritability. You're doing a great job. I wish I could help more.
All right, let's see. Other updates. Do we have any more dog updates? Oh, the Golden Ratio calendar is now available. We have a 12-month calendar. If you just go to the link in any of our bios, it'll take you to the calendar and you can get it. So
I don't want to spoil it, but it's pictures of the dogs.
Indeed. The other thing that I noted, and this is just a
hilarious.
Just a little side note before we go on, is that hashtag 70 months for hops is a thing that has started popping up all over the place in our mentions because Jared's like 70 months. And because I was like, the vet says probably 6 to 18 months for hops. And Jared's like, I went 70. So hashtag 70 months for hops keeps popping up now.
I think that's from Queso. Didn't we get like
Jasmine?
Jasmine, yeah. We were so lucky with Queso, who was such a trooper for so long that I now hope all our dogs live till they're 15.
Okay. So I just wanted to note that hashtag. And then we've got a lot of stuff for the No Rules podcast, which maybe we should do like a Halloween themed one because there are some ghost conversations to have.
Okay.
So maybe assuming that I feel better this weekend, maybe we'll do that.
Excellent.
In human news, for Days of the Keys, actually 2 weeks ago, we forgot to mention that Jared Dad ran a 50K here.
It was on the Twitter, so it's not a secret.
Right, we just didn't podcast it. So good job, Jared Dad.
Yeah, I signed up for the Marine Corps 50K in 2021, for 2021, and then it was canceled then and only
this is
virtual.
2021.
Oh, 2020. The 2021. The 2020 race is what I signed up for originally, which was canceled, and they held a virtual one last year.
Stop it. Here,
There's cables. It's the couch. There's stuff.
Put your feet under the cables.
All right. Love that content. Anyway.
Maybe it's because your story's boring, Jared Dad. Just tell us about your run.
It will be if you keep distracting me. So it rolled over to this year, and we're going to have it in person on Halloween. The Marine Corps Marathon and the 50K would have been one race. But they canceled it. They unfortunately had to cancel it because of COVID still not being under control. So they decided not to force it. And probably mid-September said, hey, we're going to run it virtually, which means...
Tell us how your run went, though, Jared Dad.
So what now?
Tell us about your actual run.
Yes.
Because these logistics are boring me.
Yeah, you have like 3 weeks to do it, right? And so I was due for a long training run on whatever that was, Monday or Sunday. It was a Sunday. And I just sort of said, if I'm going to run like 20 miles, I might as well run 31 and get it over with and do it while I'm not injured and do it. So I, late in the day, like at 11, decided I think I'm going to run the 50K. And you were very supportive. You were super excited to help me, which helped. And so the courses I run like halfway to Key West and then take a left and run to the water and then come back. And then I have to run another like 5 or 6 miles. And so you set up my phone so you could track where I was, and you crewed me, which was awesome. You're very good at that, which meant you like showed up every 3 or 4 miles, and then in increasing frequency, because you know it's important, towards the end you'd show up like every mile.
That's because you looked like you were going to die.
Well, that's what happens. That's how I look. And I sweat a lot. But you were like, you came with the car, and you let me sit in the car, and then you were like, you brought a sign with queso on it.
I did. I brought flat queso.
Yes,
that's true.
And it was like something to run towards. I mean, it was excellent. You were the best crewer for a race because you know exactly how it feels. And you kept saying, you don't have to stop just because I'm standing there. You can ignore me. You don't have to pay any attention. I don't want to make it worse for you. It was very good. You brought me dry socks because I sweat so much that my socks get like I've been standing in the ocean. You brought me new shoes, and then at one point you even put like powder, like running powder on my feet and saved them. They were pruny, and then
magic.
They were not.
Yep, I got magic treatments for feet.
And then I did it, and I got home, and you made me tacos for dinner, and it was delicious.
I didn't even remember that.
Oh my God, it was the best. You were like super nice. So I did. I got home. I finished right around sunset, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Good job.
Couldn't have left any later or run any slower. But now I'm done. I've reported my results. I'll get my little medal. It'll be good.
Good job, Ingo.
Yeah, thanks. But thank you for crewing me. So now that you're sick and I want to take care of you, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing. I can't like bring you new shoes. That's not exciting. That's not what helps for
you
muscle
can like actively
pain.
not touch me though.
I did pretty well yesterday, I think.
Yeah, you did. At one point, you like gently patted my back, and you're like, "Just a little one," and I was like, "Okay, if you try that again, I'm gonna break your hand."
I think you didn't say that last part out loud, but it was kind of implied. I understood the message. So anyway, thank you for crewing me. I would not have run that race that day without you.
You did a great job.
Thank you. You did a great job.
In other human news, so it's Fantasy Fest. This is our Taste of the Keys. So we went to Shocktoberfest on Sunday.
So Sunday night, right? Yeah.
Sunday. All right. Nobody there was body painted. Everybody fully clothed.
Some zombies.
Yeah. We entered and did not win the costume contest.
No, somebody who had fewer clothes on than we did won.
Yeah.
Shocker.
But anyway, it was kind of out on this little farm on Kauki, which nobody lives on. Excuse me.
Bees.
And
there were bees.
They do keep bees there. And when we were leaving, I bought a little jar of honey from them, and I was like, yeah, I used to keep bees before we moved down here. And the lady who owns the farm, she's like, you know how to keep bees? And I was like, yeah, I do. And she's like, we need somebody to keep bees here. And I was like, well, she's like, email me, and after Halloween, I'll tell you, like, we need a volunteer to work with the bees. And I was like, I am your girl, so I might get some bee time again.
Some keys bees.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Because I wanted to set up the hives here, but they have a ton of beehives, so that would be really fun. So yeah, yesterday, as I was writhing in the couch in the evening, I was like, Ingo, we're missing the Love to Glow party. No glow, no entry. I can't go to the Love to Glow party because I can't even get off the
that was a
couch.
real miss. You had been looking forward to that.
Love to Glow.
Yeah.
I just like the name. And then tonight was Irish Kevin's 80s dance party, the one party that I got Jer Dad to agree to go to, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. It still hurts to just
I'll dance for you in the 80s style. I thought actually that's all I know is the 80s style of dancing. So I will dance for you. How's that? You can critique me or throw stuff at me or whatever.
Okay. I mean, it's not the same, but it's pretty good.
I know it's definitely not the same.
Will you wear your lederhosen that we got for your costume?
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever I can do. I would if there were medicine I could make for you, I'd make that.
Yeah, you picked up my medicine that the doctor prescribed. That's pretty good.
Picked up a Coke for you last night.
You're very nice.
And French fries.
I actually didn't eat the French fries.
I did.
That's good. It all works out then.
Yep.
All right. So that's the Taste of the Keys. We still are doing Fantasy Fest. my jellyfish incident has slowed down our partying. Though, one thing. So I was reading the list last week of all the activities, and there was one of the things I read was the kinky couples party with rubber doll, and that's all it said.
Yeah.
I found the link on the page to like the actual description. So Rubber Doll is apparently like a world-renowned latex performer. And it's this club, and it's like for couples, kinky couples, and you come, and it says private areas, and also you can leave and come back. So basically, it's just an orgy. / swinger hookup, so you can...
It's like an orgy potential. You can have an orgy if you want.
Yes, so there's apparently space there for group sex on the premises, but you also can leave and go back to your hotel and then return to the party after you've had your fun times.
Yeah, that might be better.
Oh my God. And there's 2 nights of it. There's like a Friday and a Saturday version. This is not our scene, you guys, just in case anybody's wondering.
We did not buy tickets.
Oh my God, we're definitely not going to this. But I kind of like that this is just a thing in Fantasy Fest. Like couples orgy Friday, Saturday. Like, I mean, nobody's getting hurt by that. If everybody's into it, like, more power to them.
Yeah. Wow.
So...
Yeah, we have not been on the sexy side of Fantasy Fest yet.
No, and you know, normally there's a big parade,
Yeah.
and that's where you see like all of the body painted people. In fact, one of the friends of the squad had tweeted at me this week that there on Discovery Plus there's a documentary called "This Is Halloween," which is all like your dad was making fun of it the whole time because it's just like the history of Halloween and like here's candy and here's costumes.
I was a little irritated.
Yeah.
I was just in a grumpy mood.
It's great background TV, but the person who tweeted it was like, there's a little section on Fantasy Fest, and they have a whole thing about Halloween parades and their connection to like gay pride parades. And they do have some stuff from Fantasy Fest, though back in the tamer days of like the 90s, it looked like is where their footage was from.
Yeah, it was sort of minimal and late in the show too.
Yeah, I mean, someone had tweeted like, "Dear Mom didn't lie about the Google image search, that the results that you get if you Google Fantasy Fest," and I had checked it again, and there's a lot of examples of people who are not abiding by the thong rule. If you turn off your safe search and you look for, the good thing is you can't really tell because they're well body painted, and shaved. So you can't really tell, like, it's artful body paint, a lot of painted on shorts, but you can tell like there's no thong under there. Normally that's all at the parade, which they canceled this year for COVID. So we'll see what we can find. I'm going to try to get off the couch tonight so we can go eat dinner somewhere, and we'll see what we can see around.
Oh.
But we're not going to any parties. It's like my arm hurts just sitting here on the couch. My whole
you
body
do
hurts.
have the option. You have a very good reason to give it a miss. But if you want to go, you totally get to go too.
Dinner, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it'd be...
Moving off the couch, frankly, because, you know.
We're just going to take it hour by hour.
You have...
Oh, my poor body.
Irukandji or whatever it is syndrome.
I know. Yeah. Irukandji. It's named after the Aboriginal people who identified the jellyfish that causes that problem in Australia.
Which isn't supposed to exist here. That jellyfish.
It does not exist here. So apparently other jellyfish can cause it, but they don't really know which ones because, like, I didn't get a sample of whichever jellyfish fucked me up.
Yeah, we still don't know enough about jellyfish.
Oh, I feel so bad. You want to do German word of the week?
Mess you up. Holzbein, we decided, is a good word. Holzbein.
Means wooden leg.
Wooden leg. Peg leg, wooden leg. Mm-hmm.
Want to tell the joke?
No, you tell it because you tell it with such disdain.
This is an actual German joke that I probably learned from you. Did I learn from your dad? Did I learn it from a
could have been
website?
From like a learned a German website or something, yeah.
Was ist schlimmer als eine Giraffe mit Halsschmerzen?
What's worse than a giraffe with a sore throat?
Eine Tausendfüßler mit Holzbein.
Yeah, a centipede with a wooden leg.
And I think when I first read this joke, I was like, why is one of those things worse than the other?
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't you say, was ist schlimmer als eine Tausendfüßler mit einem Holzbein? Eine Giraffe mit Halsschmerzen.
I think it's just absurd. I didn't say the Germans were funny.
No. Well, I mean, you occasionally try to say that, and you're wrong. because
Frankly,
they're
I
not.
do think the giraffe with the sore throat is probably worse because you have that long throat. Like it's a lot of sore.
And the Tausendfüßler, the centipede, has like 100 feet, and only one of them, 100 legs, only one of them's wood.
Yeah, I gotta say, I never had it explained to me, and as a kid, I think I pictured 100 wooden legs, but that's not how the joke is told. So
That would be funnier. And I like I like the idea of the sound that would make.
yeah, yeah, that's true. So maybe it's one side is supposed to be wooden legs.
Ann Wheaton, I think somebody had tweeted this really great video that someone took of a millipede walking on the street, but it's at sunset when it casts really long shadows, and the angle was just right. So there's this like normalish millipede walking down the street, but it has this big long shadow. So the shadow, like the legs are like 3 inches long, and the body is like 3 inches long.
Spider legs.
So it's like this big, tall, like stretched out thing behind it. So it's like deep, 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 deep. And it's got these big long legs. I'll try to tweet it in the.
Did it have a wooden leg?
I didn't see any wooden legs. They all looked.
No.
I mean, like, would it be skinny wooden leg on a Tausendfüßler like that?
I think it'd be like a peg leg, like a pirate.
Yeah, these all looked like they were normal.
Yeah. I think, have we discussed the German, your lack of appreciation for the German humor?
Yeah, I regularly, yes.
I admit there are Germans struggle with humor. There are some funny people, and there is some funny humor. But man, there's a reason a lot of American shows have always been shown in Germany, and British shows.
We talked about this a few episodes ago, and we were talking about Bernd das Brot. And
Yes.
and somebody put a link to Band in like under the podcast that I tweeted out, and a bunch of people watched it, and they're just like, what the hell did I just watch? Like, what was it? And
Yeah.
Band apparently, so there's always like an omnipotent voice, right? So Band gets brought in and dropped in,
Yeah, the announcer voice.
and he's like, Willkommen in Kiko Lounge. Kiko Lounge. Kiko is the channel.
Yeah, Kika.
And so, Kika, willkommen in Kika Lounge mit deinem Chill-Out-Coach, Bernd das Brot. And so it's like, welcome to the Kika Lounge with your Chill-Out Coach, Bernd the Bread. And Bernd's like,
What the?
yeah, I think literally, he's just like, was? Mist. Mist, he says a lot. Mist. Which I was, what does that actually translate to? I always just take it as like, damn.
Yeah, it refers to like fertilizer, like a big pile of mist. I don't know what's the
manure.
Yeah, when you clean out the stables.
Yeah.
The pile of that is called ein Misthaufen.
Interesting.
I don't know what it's called here.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Poop. It's a pile of poop.
Which is a good description of German humor.
There are some funny funny German comedians, but a lot of German humor is trying too hard.
Well, yes. I got nothing else to say about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to go writhe around a little bit more.
You could take a shower.
Really bad. I've taken like 5 baths and like 8 showers because the hot water is supposed to help neutralize the jellyfish venom. And I don't think I can anymore. I keep like getting overheated. I take them so hot. It's like not scalding, but as hot as possible. I don't think it's helping very much anymore. So I watched like 8 episodes of NCIS yesterday.
Yeah, we're almost caught up.
I was like, I need to distract myself from how bad I feel, so we'll watch NCIS. Yeah, we're almost caught up. I started like a couple months ago in the 2003 like episode 1, and now we're about done.
2020, right?
We're in this year.
Jeez.
We're up to 2021. The current
It's not
season.
getting better though. It's not getting better.
All right. Well,
spoiler alert.
There may be a no rules pod. We've got like 2.
You've promised this for a while. You
know.
can't sit is the problem. Like this is a good seated activity, and your butt hurts.
Someday it won't.
Today
Definitely not today.
Today is not that day.
Everything hurts now, including the butt.
Butt hurt intensifies.
Yeah. All right, everyone. I hope we do a No Rules podcast for you for Halloween. But if we don't, get lots of candy and have a good time.
Yeah, definitely. Big bars.
And don't bite anyone unless they ask you to.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.